On today's Fun Ford Fact, Ford foments about ferment. Throughout his term, Doug Ford used his mandate and the power of the Ontario taxpayers' purse to fight the unions ferociously. And yet, Ford's friends, the corporations, and the developers, they did just fine. Case in point.
But your little things. But listen, $2.2 billion that you're spending right now to subsidize a luxury spa in downtown Toronto, that's $400 per household in Ontario. Do you think you could maybe cancel that so that people in Ontario won't be subsidizing a luxury spa?
Just in the last little while, as you know, Doug Ford has called an early election. This election is going to cost Ontario taxpayers $189 million. And it's the first time we've had an election in the winter since 1883. Trying to drive down turnout, Doug? So, Dougie's been up to a few shenanigans. But the one I find most reprehensible, the one that is going to cost us $612 million, is the push to get alcohol into the stores early, just before the election.
From the moment the Ford government accelerated the availability of alcohol in convenience stores, critics have been asking, what's the rush?
They've canceled an agreement that was going to end anyway on December 31st, 2025.
In order to facilitate the deal, the government agreed to give $225 million in taxpayer money to the beer store. It allows the foreign-owned company to retain its footprint in Ontario for the time being, while giving the Ford government permission to expand the sale of booze into new retail locations.
Well, I think it's a great deal.
But critics claim the bill is actually much higher. Between discounts, rebates, and lost revenue for the LCBO, they claim the bottom line could be over $1 billion.
A government.
So that's what we're going to be spending to get alcohol into the gas stations and the convenience stores early before the election. Buying us with $200 and doing this. I find the whole alcohol in the stores push particularly reprehensible when it's coming from Doug Ford. And that is because Doug Ford had a brother, Rob Ford, who was the mayor of Toronto. And in 2014, he came back after spending 2 months in rehab for drug and alcohol addiction and gave this press conference.
I underwent hundreds of hours of intensive therapy. I now know that the staff at Greenstone saved my life. They forced me to confront my personal demons. I learned about things like triggers and what happens when you have uncontrollable cravings.
So even though Dougie is fully aware through his own brother how triggering the sight of alcohol could be in your local convenience store when you go to pick up gas, if you're a recovering alcoholic, Dougie knows this. He doesn't care. He's willing to spend $619 million to get that alcohol out to those triggered alcoholics that much sooner because he sees it as an advantage for him in the coming election. And that's disgusting. I'm a Canadian colon hydrotherapist, and I know when I see them. And that's today's Fun Ford Fact.